Hello, I'm Fury Swap, and I remember things from 1969. Hello, I'm Fury Swipes, and I cut my own hair. Hello, I'm Fury Swipes, and I 40 box knacks. Hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk about specs in vanilla WoW, in classic WoW, because on my server, multiboxwow.com, all the specs got reset. So, respec everybody. I have 40 tunes here. They all need to be respec. And you know what? I'm not going to respec all 40 of them. What I am going to do is I'm going to talk about all the classes I have. Of course, I don't have a pally on this in this raid because I'm Horde. But I do have all the other classes and even some subspecs of classes. So hopefully I can give you some insight on how to spec your classes while I respec my 40. This is going to be a really short stream probably, and then I'm going to start another stream where I test out the new healing code from Valatorn, which I did get working today, and I'm really happy about that. And let's just get started, shall we? All right, well, the first class we're going to spec today is going to be a warrior, and I'm just going to make the window bigger. This is a warrior tank. This is my main tank, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how I spec warriors. Now, the most important talent tree in speccing your main tank warrior for multi-boxing for my code is actually arms, because you do need some tactical mastery. My code relies on it. My code relies on being able to switch stances with 25 points of rage still in your rage bar. So what are we going to choose on arms? Well, it's very simple. We choose everything in deflection, because in vanilla WoW, if you are a tank, you need to take 5 points in deflection. That's 5% less melee damage, period. You must take that. Now, you should also, if you're playing with my multi-box code in vanilla WoW, you should take tactical mastery for sure, all 5 points. And you know what? The music behind me stopped, so I'll be right with you. The reason for this is I switch stances during combat, and I rely on that rage being there. Now, optionally, you can actually make Thunderclap a little cheaper, or you can make Charge a little better. I don't recommend it. Making Thunderclap cheaper, I use Thunderclap in the rotation, so making Thunderclap cheaper is actually a really smart option if you have the points, but we're not going to go there right now. All right, so the second priority of protection warriors is getting down to Shield Slam, which is your best threat dealing ability. I've tried rolling without Shield Slam. It's just not good enough. So you must always spec down to Shield Slam. And by the way, somebody give me a stream test, because I'm feeling like the stream is crappy today. So if you think the stream is crappy today, please let me know in the YouTube chat, and I will try and do something about it. It probably has something to do with running 40 boxes at a time. So if I'm locking up a lot, apologies. But let's get back to the meat of the subject. And the meat of the subject is warrior protection talents. Alright, so you're going to need the shield specialization because you want improved shield block probably. You could probably live without it, but Absolutely, you need anticipation. Increase your get free 10 free defense. Toughness. Absolutely, get 10% more armor. Yes. Increase the threat. I always take Defiance. It's extremely good. You always want the most threat you can get. And I always take Improved Taunt, because having a 6-second taunt is way better than having an 8-second taunt. So Improved Blood Rage and Last Stand is pretty much a must for Classic WoW. If you don't have Last Stand, they're going to think that you're a bad tank. 100%. They're going to think you're a bad tank. I do like Improved Shield Wall, but we're already up to Concussion Blow. We're going to pick that. Shield Bash is more for PvP. And Improved Revenge is very optional. Improved Disarm, it's good in certain situations. Improved Sunder Armor, since you're always using Sunder Armor, reducing Sunder Armor by 3 is extremely helpful from a rage standpoint. So, let's be real. We're gonna block. We're gonna take all the points in shield specialization, and I do like Improved Shield Block because I do use Shield Block. So I'm taking all 3 points. No apologies. That gets us to one-handed weapon specialization. Increases the damage you deal with one-handed weapons. 2% per click, by the way, which is not bad. That's you can equate that to additional threat, and then Shield Slam. Now I've got 3 talent points left. I could go over to Fury and throw a couple into Cruelty to get my crit up, do more damage. I would never choose Booming Voice. I could go to Arms and put a couple points in Improved Thunderclap, but I don't know. I'm going to go back to Protection. Improved Shield Wall is very tempting. That can make the difference between winning and losing, really. So I'm taking 2 points in Improved Shield Wall, and I'm going to go to Arms, and I'm going to throw 1 point into cheaper Thunderclap, Thunder Fury. Only because I don't have Thunder Fury on this server. If you have Thunder Fury, you probably should not bother with Improved Thunderclap. And that's it. That's Warrior. Let's move on to the next one. Let's go to a priest. This is going to be a healing priest. And we're going to talk about healing priest. Now, the goal in priest healers for me is to get to Divine Spirit, because on the servers I'm on, and I don't know if it's going to be the same on Classic WoW, but you do not get the Spirit group buff unless you have Divine Spirit. So I will always buff up to Divine Spirit so that they can cast Prayer of Spirit and give everybody the group buff. And we'll have to see how it turns out on Classic WoW, but right now I take Unbreakable Will because improving your damage with wands is moronic. You will always be 1% of the damage with wands, and don't think that you won't be. These 2 buffs, Improved Power Word Shield and Improved Power Word Fortitude, some of the best in the game. Silent Resolve, reduce the threat generated by your spells by 20%. I'm always going to take that. I don't want my priests. Martyrdom, it's more for PvP. Your priest shouldn't be taking critical hits, so don't take Martyrdom if you're just PvE. And Meditation allows 15% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting. Yes. Improved Mana Burn, you usually don't need that. Improved Inner Fire is good. I like Improved Inner Fire, increases the armor bonus of your Inner Fire spell by 30%. It's not that great, but it does get you to Divine Spirit. And now we're going to go to the Holy. I do not take Mental Agility. I don't take mental strength usually. Sometimes I do. Inner focus I do take because that's a free oh shit heal. All right, for holy specialization, I usually sometimes I take 2 and 3, like 2 here. Give me another one there, bro. And 3 here. Sometimes I take just 5 there. I'm going to take 2 and 3 right now. Reduce all spell damage taken or reduce the casting time. Yes. Reduce the casting time of your heals. That changes who you are as a healer. I do like inspiration. I like the increased armor of people that I'm healing. It's a passive buff on the raid. And you must take Holy Nova if you are using my code, because I will cast Holy Nova anytime you hit the 5 button. Now, I am not paying attention to my questions online, so let me get those out onto another window. Happy 420, Dave! Are you token it up? Are you token it up, bruh? Blessed Recovery, again, you shouldn't be struck by melee or range critical hits, so I don't really love that one unless you're PvP. Of course, you're going to take Improved Healing, reduce the mana cost of your heals. Holy Reach is optional. I'm going to call that optional. I will put a point in it just to get up to the next thing. And the next thing is Spiritual Guidance. Increase spell damage and healing by up to 25% of your spirit. Oh, that's so good. You can do Improved Prayer of Healing. I don't think right now with the current setup that I'm running that I will be casting Prayer of Healing, but Improved Prayer of Healing is interesting to me. I will usually just go with Spiritual Healing, which increases my healing overall. So there you go. That's the priest. I don't all right, so I should talk about Spirit of Redemption. It's good. It's fine, especially if you're raiding. You get to heal a little more after you die. Maybe it makes a difference between killing a boss and not killing a boss. Lightwell is terrible. Don't ever choose it. Nobody will ever click your Lightwell, and if they're clicking it, they're not doing their job in raid. So fuck them. Use it to find the crappy raiders. And look at that. There's people running around on my server. Come join us. Okay, that's priests. Let's do mage. We're gonna do Frostspec Mage now. Okay, Frostspec Mage. Basically, you're gonna roll down to everything but Ice Barrier, unless you're a PvP guy. Don't use Ice Barrier. You should not need that. So for Frostspec Mages, I will. By the way, Dave, how is the stream? It looks pretty ragged. Let me know if it's too ragged. I may have to log back in with just a 20-man. In fact, I think I might do that. I think I might just log in with a 20-man because I don't think that we're getting a really good stream here right now. So you finally came out about being Pally. Good. Good, man. I will support you in your walk. All right, so let's talk about Frostspec. What I will roll on Frostspec is, of course, Improved Frostbolt. That's your main damage dealer. You're going to take. You're of course going to take Elemental Precision because that's 3% more damage right off the top. You're going to take Ice Shards because this is a direct adder to your critical strike bonus, critical strike damage. It's tremendous. Next, Improved Blizzard you're going to ignore. You will take Cold Snap. You will take Piercing Ice because that's just damage, right? That's just a damage multiplier. You'll take Improved Frost Nova, not because that's any good, but because Shatter increases the critical strike chance of all your spells against frozen targets by 50%. Yes, that's a must take. Frost Channeling, you're going to take all 3 points in that, reduce the mana cost. Arctic Reach. If you're multi-boxing, take Arctic Reach. If you're not multi-boxing, if you're just running a single tune, don't ever take that unless you're PvPing. Ice Block is fantastic. Always take that. That'll save your life every single day of the week. Cone of Cold is not something you would take. You do take Winter's Chill. Now, some people who are multi-boxing roll with Winter's Chill only on one mage, and they use their points usefully everywhere elsewhere. But I actually put it on all my Frost mages because I don't like dealing with who has Winter's Chill, who doesn't have Winter's Chill, and so I just roll with them all. Okay, resolution good, frame rate low. That's the problem I don't like. I don't want the frame rate to be low. Do you think it's worth having 2 specs? Some Winter's Chill, some not. Okay, so yeah, I was just talking about this. There's probably some lag. But yeah, the reason I don't do it is because I will run raids with different combinations of my tunes. Different combinations of my 40 tunes. And I just don't want to be bothered with remembering who has Winter's Chill and who doesn't. But if you're min-maxing, you definitely only want one Winter's Chill. You need to spend those points usefully elsewhere if you're a multi-boxer. If you are a solo boxer on Classic WoW, and you know what? We have got to work on this frame rate. This is bad. But if you're a solo boxer on Classic WoW, you probably need to have Winter's Chill to be in raid. Work it out with your guild. Decide who has Winter's Chill or not. All right, Dave, I don't know where the 8 Shamans comment comes from, but we can talk about that. You talking about my 8 Shamans? Rather have more priests and 5 pallies? Well, okay, fine. Then you're Alliance. Oh, you're saying you're switching to Alliance because you're just sick of the Horde? How dare you, sir? How absolutely dare you? All right, so Arcane Focus, that's a must. We're finishing off our Frost Mage, by the way. Arcane Focus is a must, and we're gonna put some we're gonna put these 2 points in Arcane Subtlety too, because that is a direct DPS adder. I do love Arcane Concentration. I always take all 5 points in it. People can argue about that, but that means we do want 3 points in Arcane Explosion, because when I'm multi-boxing, I always use Arcane Explosion. I don't care what spec you are. Arcane Explosion is a major damage dealer adder. So now we have 1 point left. Increase your armor by amount equal to 50% of your intellect. Allows 5% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting. I mean, do with this as you wish. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to probably just throw mana regen this time. All right. That finishes Frost Mages. I do not believe I'm going to do Fire Mages today, but Fire Mages are super simple. You just take everything in the fire tree. Pretty much. I mean, don't take the things that are obviously not going to help you, but take everything in the fire tree. And then whatever you have left, try to spec up to improved Arcane Explosion. Let's do Healing Shaman. This is Healing Shaman. And Healing Shaman, the goal in your Healing Shaman is to get up to Monotide Totem. Alright, so fill in whatever you need to do to get there. Reduce the mana cost of your spells is awesome. I do love Tidal Focus. It's 5% more mana, man. I love Improved Healing Wave. Okay. Improved Reincarnation is very optional. Usually I'm rolling with so many Shaman, it doesn't matter that I have Reincarnation that is, 10 minutes faster. Ancestral Healing I do love. I love the big armor bonus. It has good synergy with... Dave, the training is always free on multiboxwow.com. It doesn't matter what level you are. Always free. So just go to the trainer as soon as you level. Reduce the mana cost of your totems. Leave that guy for now. Don't do that yet. That's probably a good thing to do, but let's get the good stuff first. Totemic Mastery, always good. Because you sometimes spread out when you're fighting bosses. Reduces the threat generated by your healing spells. I like it. Alright, I think it's important. People will argue that if you're pulling threat as a healer, then your tanks aren't doing a good job. That's fine. You can decide what you want to do. Nature's Guidance is ludicrous. You wouldn't take that. Increase the critical effect chance of your healing and lightning spells by 5%. Fine. You can take it if you want. You do need restorative totems, so you have to take that. But you know what? As a resto shaman, you're probably going to have more points than you need. You know, the last few points you're going to be assigning are not going to be very useful. So always take Nature Swiftness. Increase Purification. Increase the effectiveness of your healing spells by 10. I like Healing Way. 33% chance to... Actually, 100% chance to increase the effect of subsequent healing wave spells on your target by 6% for 15 seconds. And it stacks 3 times. I love it. I think it's great. And then, of course, Mana Tide. Now, that's going to leave you with 14 points. You can do the avoid interruption thing, but your guys should not be getting hit. So I'm going to head over to Enhancement. And I'm going to take the increased mana pool, which is awesome. And I'm going to take the Guardian Totems, which I do love. Now you've got to decide. Elemental, there's really nothing to take. You've got Shock and Chain Lightning, and Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning and Shock. Yeah, that's really not where you want to be. You could try to block more attacks, and or you could just take 3 points and get some dodge, or 3 points and add to your Strength of Earth and Grace of Air. And that's really what I'm going to do. I'm going to take those totems, and I'm just going to make my totems better, because I'm dropping totems all the time. So I have 2 points left. I'm going to go back to Restoration, and I am going to make my totems just a little bit cheaper. You can argue, should I just throw all the points into Totemic Focus or not? You know, that's up to you. These are all choices you've got to make. But this is the way I think about it. All right, we're going to move along to more tequila. I said I would never drink again. I almost made it, man. I almost made it. All right, let's do Warlocks. Trying to find a Warlock. Warlock. Where are my Warlocks? Chaos Bolt. There you go. A Warlock! Alright, should I kill all the windows and just roll 20s so that it's working better? I feel like I should. I mean, I don't know. This is going to be a really bad stream, so those of you trying to play Classic WoW and figure out specs, well, you're going to see my face just like, So, sorry! Alright, hopefully all my passwords aren't up. I'm killing all my windows, and I'm going to just start 20. Is everything okay? Everything looks okay. Look! I'm not frame rate limited anymore. Hey! I'm moving around. Alright. Hopefully none of my passwords come up here. And this is all good. I don't care if you know my account names. Know my account names. I don't care. Remind me of them when I forget them. Because I'm old. I was going to go to Santa Barbara today. We're going to drive to Santa Barbara. Just me and Monique and the dog. In the Mustang convertible. And it turns out the coast of California today is just covered with partial cloudiness and cold. It was so warm yesterday, and it looked like it was going to be just a lock on. This is what you want to do. Drive to Santa Barbara, hang out there. I've never been there, and then we looked at the weather last night, and we looked all the way down to Huntington Beach. I mean, I was getting desperate. I was like, okay, fine. HB. No. And Dave, can you tell us what the weather is right now? I know it kind of burned off, Dave, but they said I couldn't find a town that was going to be in the 70s. And Monique really likes 70s. You know, she really likes being warm. And you know, if we want to drive down, we bought this nice harness for the dog so he wouldn't jump out of the convertible and stuff. If we want to drive down to down the coast, it really does need to be warm so that what's going on, man? There we go. For some reason I had to freaking restart my hotkey net. Okay, you should be getting full frame rate now. Sorry about that. Not really sure what's going on. I mean, maybe there's something running in the background on my computer and it's just not running as well on OBS. Or maybe I changed some setting on OBS. I don't know. Anyways, Dave, pay attention. Is it looking nice down there now in Orange County or what? Not that we were going all the way to Orange County. We were not. We were going to burn 5 hours and go down to San Bernardino on 101, which, by the way, I've never been down. Okay, we're good to go again. Let's do a Warlock. Hellfire. I guess it's Hellfire now. N is the key you want. All right, so Warlocks. There are two schools of thought on Warlocks in Vanilla and Classic. The first school of thought is Sacrifice Spec, Demonic Sacrifice. You sacrifice your Succubus and you get 15% more shadow damage during raid. All right? The second school of thought is Ruin Spec. Right? You spec up to Ruin and you just do a hell of a lot of... You do very powerful Shadow Bolts, and you partially spec into Affliction to get free Shadow Bolts. Now, I have tried both. In fact, I have tried both in the... Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is, Nathan. Nathan's on Oahu right now, and of course it's nice and warm. It's always nice and warm there. Well, the sun did come out, I will admit, and in fact, I will tell you the weather right here in Castro Valley is... never mind. It claims it's 55 out there, but it's not 55 out there, is it? No chance. What is it, winter? I think it's 62. It also says it's 62 out there in Castro Valley. So I think 62 is probably the right number. Man, I just got distracted again. You poor Classic people who don't know what to spec. Let me tell you. Get away from Affliction, all right? Do not spec into Affliction. Don't think that you're going to be dotting everybody up and you're going to be like, oh, I'm the Affliction Master, blah, 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 blah. No, don't go into Affliction. In Vanilla WoW, your dots are not welcome. Honestly speaking, your dots are not welcome. You have a limited number of, and maybe it'll be better in Classic, but the target has a limited number of dots he can have on it. On most of the servers I play on, which are Classic Vanilla WoW servers, I think that number is 8. Okay, 16 max. But think about 40 people putting dots on him, and 16 is the max. Well, your dot might not be welcome. Your stupid little crappy ass curse that may or may not do any damage is not welcome to knock off more important debuffs on the target. So, unfortunately, Vanilla WoW really kind of screwed you there if you're going to be raiding. All right? Even if you're PvPing, I mean, if you're PvPing, it's different. There's not usually going to be a full load of 16 dots on the target. But in Alterac Valley, there might be. Your dot might be knocked off. So, really, Blizzard fucked it all up by putting dot limits on the target and really made Affliction kind of a, you know, the redheaded stepchild of the specs. So, we don't do Affliction in Vanilla. Now, I have done both the Ruin spec and the Sacrifice spec. And by the way, my code supports it. If you want to do the Sacrifice spec, the only thing you got to do is you do have to select your Succubus by going over to this button over here on the right. And you can't even see it. You can't even see it because it's behind my face. But you got to go click your Succubus button and make sure your guy summons a Succubus. Otherwise, your Sacrifice spec won't work. So, keep that in mind. I think some people logged out. Keep that in mind. And the point that I wanted to make with that, and that it's taken me a long time to get to, and so sorry, is that they're the same. One doesn't do any more damage than the other. Sometimes the Sacrifice guy wins, sometimes the Ruin guy wins. Why add another step to your whole setup by having to summon a Succubus, using a Soul Stone, by the way, and then dismissing it to get your DPS? Why do I want to use a Soul Stone to get my DPS? Just go to the Ruin spec. You don't need to use a Soul Stone in your setup. And do this. Bam. Mana cost. Bane, yes. You have to choose Devastation. Depending on the server, I will choose Intensity. On Multibox WoW, you probably should choose Pyroclasm because we think it works. Destructive Reach, I always choose Destructive Reach, and of course Ruin. Now, you want Ember Storm, increase the damage by your fire spells by 10%. Yes! You do not want Immolate because you do not use Immolate. There are situations where you use Searing Pain, all right, but we're going to come back to that. I don't use Shadowburn because, oh wow, Andrew Lynn says they are going to cap the number of debuffs at 16 again for retail. See, Affliction gets screwed. Affliction gets screwed. They're like saying, oh, fuck you, Affliction, whatever. You're going to get screwed. Improved Firebolt. I'm not sure Improved Firebolt is good enough to put 2 points in. We might wind up putting 2 points in it. Let's go and look at some other stuff. Improved Imp, I believe, is good. Okay? I believe Improved Imp is good. So I will take Improved Imp. Let's go to Reflection. Instant Corruption is good. Okay, and we do use it in multiboxwow.com. And I do like Improved Life Tap because you do use Life Tap almost every big fight. So I do go for Improved Life Tap. We do want to try and get up to Nightfall. So we're going to keep picking stuff. Reduces the chance for your enemies to resist your Affliction spells. This is iffy, all right? I'm not so sure about that. Improved Drain Soul is, you do use Drain Soul, all right? But in Vanilla WoW, the Drain Soul is really, the Improved Drain Soul is really crappy. Curse of Weakness, you're not going to pick that. So I'm going to put a couple of points in Suppression just to get by it. And then we got Amplify Curse. I like Amplify Curse, but I don't have it in the code. So I forgive you if you don't grab that. You're not going to use Curse of Agony. So 14% chance to avoid interruption while channeling Drain Life, Drain Mana, Drain Soul. You got to choose something. We got to get to the next thing. We're going to get 1 point in the next thing. That's the most we're going to get. So I don't know. I'm going to throw Amplify Cursing in case I ever use it. And then I'm going to just do Fell Concentration for no good reason. None of this is any good. That gives me 1 point in Nightfall. I would probably pull a point. We spent one too many points in Destruction. I would probably pull a point out of Destruction and try to get 2 points in Nightfall next time. I don't see where I could pull a point out, though. Maybe we don't put all 3 points in Improved Imp. Try to get those 2 points in Nightfall. That's probably much better than that 3rd point in Improved Imp. So, hey, Dan Stapleton. Yes, it is Furious Wipes, and I'm actually doing stuff. Actually, there's the promise of good stuff today to do, because I did get Valatorn's healing code working, and it looks strong. It looks strong. So I'm looking at that really hard. You might see me actually doing some raiding this weekend, maybe a little later today. All right, let's do a hunter. Okay, on Vanilla WoW, hunters probably have the most choices at how they want to play it. They're pretty much all of them can be legit. All right, if you spec all the way down to Beast Mastery, you'll probably do as much DPS as somebody who specs all the way down to True Shot Aura, and there's probably some survival specs that you can do where you can keep up with those guys enough that no one will notice that you're any shittier a hunter than any of the other hunters. Hunters are terrible in Vanilla WoW. If you are playing Vanilla WoW to raid, please know that you're going to be in fewer raids. Your raid opportunities are going to be quite stripped down from another class, mostly because a raid can only afford 1 or 2 hunters and still be a good raid. Hunters simply just don't do enough DPS, and they don't offer enough to the raid to where you want to waste slots on hunters, period. That's the fact. In PvP, you can do whatever the hell you want. Hunters are fun in PvP. They're great in PvP. In vanilla, I would dare say they're one of the best classes in PvP. They're really good fun. But if you are planning on raiding with a hunter, you probably better spec down to True Shot Aura, or expect not to be invited. Nobody wants your stupid Beast Mastery. Nobody wants your pets, actually. If you could run without pets, your raid would be perfectly happy, as long as you were doing some modicum of damage that was competitive with the worst DPS in the raid, which you will be as a hunter. So, what I usually do is I do spec down to True Shot Aura. Yes, I've experimented with Survival. Yes, I've experimented with Beast Mastery. No, it's a waste of time. And so I will not usually take Improved Concussive Shot, although I do use it in Multibox WoW. It does come out there in certain situations. I forget which. Improved Hunter's Mark, only one hunter really needs Improved Hunter's Mark. That's the fact. Only one hunter needs it. You're usually targeting one guy, and I don't like to remember which hunter has it, so usually all my hunters get it. Look, hunters are shitty, and okay, you've wasted 5 points in Hunter's Mark on all your hunters. Okay. I always increase the range of my guys in multi-boxing. And, of course, I always take Aim Shot. Arcane Shot I never use. It's not proper to use Arcane Shot as a hunter in Vanilla WoW, except in very, very limited circumstances like Jindu, where you need a lot of instant damage very, very fast. Mortal Shots, of course, you're going to take those. Then you're going to take Barrage, because it's required. And of course you're going to take Range Weapon Specialization. That gets you to True Shot Aura. Now you're done with Marksman. You don't actually have to choose anything else in Marksman. We probably will choose something else in Marksman, but first we're going to go to Beast Mastery, and we're going to at least throw a couple of points into Improved Aspect of the Hawk. I don't know the math on it, all right? I'm not a min-maxer. There's probably no reason to pick all 5 points in Improved Aspect of the Hawk. Somebody needs to do the math on it. This is very well trodden ground. There's probably, just Google it. There's probably people who back in the day, they figured it all out and said, okay, since there's a secret internal cooldown on Aspect of the Hawk, statistically, if you have raid gear, you will not need Aspect of the Hawk more than this many of times or whatever. I don't know. But the reason why I'm reluctant to put all my points in it is because there's some really good stuff in survival that has a direct impact on your raid damage, like humanoid slaying. Okay, that's 3% more against damage right onto the top against humanoids. Monster slaying, that's 3% more. I'm taking those. I mean, that's a good use. Raptor Strike and Mongoose Bite. You use those all the time. They're automatic. So I will take those. But now we're stuck. We can't get to Deterrence. Not that you would want to. We don't need Survivalists. We could, Clever Traps could work. All right? But there's really nothing else here that we really want. So we're going to go back to Beast Mastery. And we're going to throw all the points in Improved Aspect of the Hawk. Now what do we got? Dodge bonus, Aspect of the Monkey, increased duration of Eyes of the Beast, health of your pets, improve revive pet. I mean, you revive your pets a lot, all right, if you're not on Vanilla Gaming. Vanilla Gaming, you don't need to cast Revive Pet. Your pet will revive himself in 30 seconds. But you could... I have 5 points left. I'm not going to get to pet damage at all. So, I mean, what is there to do? I'm going to go back to Marksmanship. And I'm going to say we don't use stings in Classic WoW because that's a debuff that nobody wants on the target in Raid. Nobody wants your stupid-ass sting that does no damage. We don't improve our stings since we don't use them. However, Scatter Shot does get used, so I'm going to throw a point in Scatter Shot. I think Scatter Shot is good. And, the bottom line is, there's really nothing else to put your points in. There's really nothing else to put your points in. I'm just going to throw my points in Improved Aspect of the Monkey, because that does get used in Multi-Box WoW. If your hunters pull aggro, they'll be switching to Aspect of the Monkey instantly, and they'll dodge better. Okay, fine, whatever. So that covers hunters. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot you can do with them. Let's talk about Feral Druids. Your Feral Tank Druids, because that's a really easy spec. I mean, you probably don't even need help with it. But this is the spec I ran for 7 years, and this is the spec I started in. Let's talk about the Feral Combat. If you're a Druid tank, this is just for Druid tanks. What's a good instance boost class? Instance boost class. What does that mean? Instance boost. You're talking about leveling inside of an instance? B. Cornwall. Give me some clarification on that. So I will always take Ferocity. It's a must. In fact, I'm just going to show you the musts. I'm going to go down through the musts. These are musts. All right. All of this is a must, in my opinion. Just watch. All right. The other stuff is optional. Now, before we put points in our optional stuff, all right, well, this is actually kind of a must. Never mind. Before we put points in our optional stuff, we're going to go to the other trees. And I'll show you why the other trees probably don't matter much. Now, I've got 18 points left, okay? Your druids, even your feral druids, can be instrumental in buffing the raid if they have improved Mark of the Wild. That's, let's see, what's good instance boost class? Leveling in an instance has a 60, leveling a lobby. I mean, mages are really good for that. Warlocks, warriors are bad, unless it's a fury warrior. Oh, looks like Chaos is on. What's up, Chaos? Hunters can be good for that. Hunters can be good for that. I mean, bear tanks are great because you can just pull the whole. You can pull the whole instance and then just swipe your way to victory. Swipe, 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 and done. I mean, there's not a lot. There's not a lot that you can go wrong with. But I will tell you that if you are, what's broken on the store? Well, I don't think that the store's working. Don't think the store's working, man. All right. So go to the store, donate some money to the store, and let us know if it's working for you. So as far as protection warriors, you might think protection warriors would be great instance boost classes, but they're really terrible. They just do too little damage, and it's just a pain to do it with protection warriors. So what I do is, even though I'm a feral tank, I do throw 5 points in Improved Mark of the Wild just to help my raid buff, because it is the best buff in the game. And I also like to throw points in Furor, because that gives me rage when I shapeshift, and I actually do use that in multi-box WoW. In 5-minute multi-boxing, I will shapeshift to get rage when I have to. So let's go to let's go to balance and see the things. Now I've got 8 talent points left, so I've kind of spec'd myself out of Omen of Clarity. Omen of Clarity is actually a really good thing to spec down to, but it's not that important, honestly. So what I'll do is I'll usually throw Improved Nature's Grasp down, and I'll take Natural Weapons. Okay, because I got greedy with Improved Mark of the Wild and Furor, I did not get to spec all the way down to Omen of Clarity. I usually will spec all the way down to Omen of Clarity, and you know, I'll sacrifice some points in. Actually, I'll usually sacrifice some points in Improved Mark of the Wild. Not this time! Omen of Clarity is kind of overrated in my opinion, so I wouldn't read too much into that. Okay, let's do... What are we missing? What are we missing? Let's do a Healing Druid. Okay, Resto Druid. Resto Druid, it's important to go over Resto Druid because it's kind of important to know you know, where to spec Resto Druid and where you're kind of wasting your time. There are 2 schools of thought on Resto Druid. There's a hybrid that throws a lot of points in balance so that they can get to Moonglow, okay? And then there's a full Resto that specs down to Swiftman, which I do use in 5-minute multiboxing, but which I probably don't use right now on Valatoran's healing code. So right now we're going to talk a little bit about what to spec, and of course you will always spec Improved Mark of the Wild, and you'll always spec improved healing touch, which reduces the cast time of your healing touch spell. I do like specking Insect Swarm. We do use Insect Swarm in 5-minute multi-boxing. Your healers will throw an Insect Swarm on the tank target, which is great. I mean, it reduces their chance to hit by 2%. That's like you healing 2% of the raid damage. Reduced threat, I think it's good. I put 5 points in reduced threat. Reflection is a great skill that Resto Druids have that lets them regen mana during the fight. And then Tranquil Spirit reduces the mana cost of your healing touch. Of course, you're going to take Nature Swiftness. Now, reduce the threat cost. This is a skill. Improved Tranquility is a skill that I really like because it gives you this free tranquility that will heal everybody in your group. It does not heal the whole raid in vanilla, unfortunately. Tranquility only affects the people in your party, but it gives you an instant oh shit heal that causes no threat. So if nothing's on you, you can run a whole Tranquility. And we do use Tranquility in 5-minute multi-boxing. I don't know how effective it is. I think it's more effective on some servers than others, but of course you're going to get all 5 points in Gift of Nature because that's 10% more healing. And that gets you down to Swift Mend. I do like Swift Mend. I do use Swift Mend in 5-minute multi-boxing. We will see if I go with this Valatoran code. And I still have some tequila. Energy drink we like in California. I am going to go with Swiftman, but look how many points I have left. When you're a Resto Druid, you usually just can't even spec all the points, usefully. Can I get down to Moonglow? No, I cannot, because I chose Swiftman. So there's really no reason to spec heavily into this tree. There's no, nothing. Physical attacks. Okay, how about this one? Omen of Clarity. Melee attacks. You lost me at melee attacks. There's really nothing to do. If you can't get to Moonglow, and you've already spec'd up to Swiftmend in Resto, man, you might as well just bomb the rest of the spells in Resto, because Enrage ability, Shapeshift gets you Rage. I'm going to take my Rejuvenation. I will take Nature's Focus. Avoid 70% chance to avoid interruption. Okay, I'm down to 10 points. I'm going to take my Improved Regrowth. Now I have 5 points left. So if you're going to get Swiftmend, which I recommend, I think Swiftmend is a great spell. Dave's drinking a green monster. What else did that give you? There's nothing. There's nothing to put those last points in. Improved Wrath? Make fast Wraths. Maybe at some point, I don't know. There's just nothing. There's nothing. So there you go. There's your... Okay, so now let's talk about who's going to be my... Okay, I don't know who's going to be my DPS Shaman, but I'm going to make a DPS Shaman here. We're going to talk about Elemental Shaman. Yeah. No, we'll do Elemental Shaman now. We'll do Rogues next. All right. So, Shaman, there's several ways you can go. All right, there's Restoration. We already talked about that. There's Elemental, and there's Enhancement. Enhancement in Vanilla WoW will get you uninvited to raid. Sorry. That's just the way it is. It's a fun PvP spec, all right? And, if a raid is so good they're overpowered, they can carry you. But you're not going to get into raid based on your raid contribution with enhancement. You are going to get carried or you're not going at all. And that's the fact. I wish enhancement was better in vanilla. I love enhancement. It's the first spec I ever played in vanilla WoW in 2000, all those years ago, 2004. Yeah, it's not going to get you in raids. So avoid enhancement if you want to do DPS. So we're going to do elemental. I'm going to show you how I do elemental. Elemental's pretty simple. The goal is to get down to elemental mastery, or if you PvP, hold back so that you can spend points in restoration to get to nature's swiftness, so you can do double lightning bolts to open up in PvP. We're not doing PvP, so we're going to go down to elemental mastery, and that means you're taking everything in convection, everything in concussion. You're taking Call of Flame. I take Call of Flame because I do use my fire totems all the time. Elemental Focus, get your clear casting. Of course, you're going to take Call of Thunder, all the points. Reduce the cooldown of your shock spells. I do like taking that. It's not totally necessary because shock spells are very mana inefficient. I take improved fire totems because I love fire totems. I also take Storm Reach to increase my range. You do need to take Lightning Mastery. If you don't take Lightning Mastery, you don't know how to play. Offensive spell crits will increase your chance to get critical strike melee. That's not something you should be using. You should not be meleeing. Focus casting, probably optional. I usually take it because here's the thing about Elemental Shaman. They pull aggro. There's nothing you're going to do about it. They pull aggro. They are going to get hit. The tank is going to be busy pulling mobs off them. So who do you put Nightfall on if you don't bring one Enhance? I tried Nightfall. I couldn't make it work, dude. It just doesn't proc enough to make it worthwhile. I feel like Nightfall is just... It sounds good in theory, but it's just terrible. It's just not good enough to waste a slot on. So of course you're going to take Elemental Mastery. So sorry, I wanted Nightfall to be something. I wanted Nightfall to work, but Nightfall just is shit. So then I go back to Restoration. You could throw points into Resto, but I don't. I go and throw points into Shield Spec and Ancestral Knowledge. So having Shield Spec will save you a few times, increase your chance to dodge by additional 3%. You could upgrade your totems, but as an elemental, you're going to be swung at so much. You're going to pull aggro so often that survivability is really important for you to wait for the tank to pull off you. So it's that simple. I would recommend going in that direction. Now, back to enhancement. Enhancement, I love this spec. I think that it's fantastic. On vanilla gaming, the private server, it is broken. You should never use it. Storm Strike doesn't work. On my server, multiboxwow.com, we think Storm Strike works. And we think Enhancement Shaman could be a thing on my server. Check other servers. I do support it. I do support Storm Strike, and I do support Enhancement Shaman in 5-minute multiboxing. So feel free to spec it. I'm not going to spec it here. All right, I'm not going to show you my enhancement spec here, but feel free to spec it here. I'm going to wrap up this stream with specking a rogue. I only support combat. All right. Why do I only support combat? Because I don't like maneuvering my rogues behind people. And combat is really good for face stabbing, which is what you're going to be doing most of the time in raid. So I can maneuver my rogues behind targets, and yes, they will backstab if the backstab is there to be done. But the best thing to do is just spec combat and front stab. So, and I think Monique's back. What'd you bring, Monique? Oh, spicy barbecue, Korean pork. Yes. So you'll always take Sinister Strike. You'll never take Improved Gouge. Just to get past this level, you'll put 3 points in dodge. You will always take Precision. You can Improved Backstab is the only thing that will make Backstab worthwhile. All right? So I'll tell you that right now. It's the only thing that will make Backstab worthwhile. So you could take Improved Backstab, but if you're carrying a sword, you're not going to backstab. So if you know this rogue's not going to backstab, and this rogue actually is carrying a sword, just take, well, you can only put 2 points in endurance. I would take 2 more points in dodge, actually. And, oh, hello. How did your appointment go? Look at that. Show the camera. Look in the camera, right there. Put your face right up there. Put your face right up there, man. Put your face. A little lower. There you go. She got new eyelashes. That's the thing you're supposed to see. They're pretty sparse, I would say. They're not like, you know, full all the way across. What's up with that? I say you complain too much, she says. All right, so that means I do have a point to put in. It's not a wasted point, all right? Thank you. It's not a wasted point, so don't worry about it. Now you've got to know what your specialization is. Of course, you're always going to pick 5 points in dual wield, and that never goes amiss. And you always want to pick Blade Flurry, so you're going to need to put a point there. Now it's rogue by rogue basis. My guy's holding a sword, so I'm going to throw a couple of points in sword spec until I can get weapon expertise. And you always want your 2 weapon expertise points. This is your best, like, these are 2 of the best talent points to assign in the game on any class. This is major bang for the buck. What a beauty. Yeah, thank you. Now, aggression, increase the damage of your main damage dealer, Sinister Strike, and Eviscerate. Yes, I do think that I will do that. And then that gets you down to Adrenaline Rush, which is your burst skill, which you will always hit when you hit the 4 key in 5-minute multiboxing to burst. So now let's go to Assassination. Let's look at Subtlety real quick, and I'll explain why we don't choose anything in Subtlety. Increase the damage dealt when striking from behind. Enough said. It makes maneuver harder. Reduce the chance enemies have to detect you well in stealth. Enough said. You don't need that in raid. Death Hybrids, what's up? Thank you for the Easter message. And yes, he is risen. God bless to you. So we're going to go to Assassination, and we're going to talk about Assassination. Critical, this is almost a 1-for-1% damage adder. So always take 5 points in Malice. Everyone casts Slice and Dice, all right? So increasing the duration of Slice and Dice means those are points that's time during the battle you don't have to spending combo points on Slice and Dice. So I always take Improved Slice and Dice. Now, I like Improved Eviscerate. I like Murder. That's 2% more damage on most targets, period. That's a really good return rate on talent points. Remorseless Attacks is garbage. You don't want that. Give your finishing moves 60% chance to add a combo point to your target. This is probably really good. All right, I have 12 points left now. So I'm going to take Murder, which is 2%. And now you've got Lethality, which increases the critical strike damage bonus of Sinister Strike by 30%. it's hard to say no to that. So I'm going to take all my lethality. Okay. Now comes a hard question. What do you take next? All right. What do you take next? Do you take improved poisons, increase the chance to apply poisons? Do you take vile poisons, increase the damage dealt by your poisons? Well, it sort of hinges on what server you're playing on and how the server works. For instance, on Vanilla WoW, poisons never fall off. On Vanilla Gaming, poisons never fall off. They stay on for the full 60 minutes. On Multibox WoW, my server, poisons do fall off and you have to repoison. So increasing the chance to apply poisons means you have to reapply your poisons more often. However, just increasing the damage dealt by your poisons might be a better option. I'm not sure. So I'm just going to give your finishing moves a chance, a 60% chance to add a combo point. I like it. And I'm not going to worry about poisons because most of the time I only roll with poisons on my offhand anyhow. And I think that poisons, although they're important, are not as important as the buff that you get from Wind Fury Totem on your main hand. So there you go. I have 2 points left, and I'm going to throw them in. Survey says more damage dealt from poisons, vile poisons. And there you go. That's that. I think that covers it for now. I am going to stop this stream and going to go spec all my guys, and then I'll be on a little later with an actual raid stream. So thanks guys for watching.